Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss some literary devices or figure of speech. I will also discuss your first poem, photograph. I will discuss poetic devices used in photograph, and once again I am going to revise some main points of photograph. I will also be discussing some extra questions of photograph of this poem of photograph. Okay, so simply I am going to revise the poem again. So let us begin. First, let us come to know what are literary devices or figures of speech or poetic devices. Okay, so they are the same, they are known as literary devices or figure of speech or poetic devices. It is called alankar in Hindi. Okay, a poetic device is a word or expression used not with its original meaning but in an imaginative way to create a special effect in the text. A few of them have been given in the figure below. Some of the commonly found devices in the textbooks have also been enlisted. So poetic devices are used to create some extra effect in the text. Okay, they are not being used, or they are not used for in their literal sense. They have some imaginative meanings. Okay, in order to create an extra effect in the text, in the poem, we poetic devices or literary devices are used. So let us go through some commonly used literary devices: simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, transferred epithet, allusion. Okay, so one by one let us go through their definition. Simile. Simile, a comparison between two unlike things using the word like, as, or than. Using the words like, as, so, or then, so also. Okay, so simile is a poetic device. It shows a comparison between two unlike things using the words like, as, than, or so. Okay, example: her hair are as black as night. So here are compared to night using as. So it is simile. Okay, next is metaphor. Students, metaphor and simile, they are same, but only their structure is different. In simile, comparison is made using the word of comparison like, as, than, or so. But in metaphor, comparison is made without using such words. Okay, it is used to describe a person or object by referring to something that is considered to possess similar characteristics. So laughter is the best medicine. So here laughter is compared to best medicine. So it's a metaphor. So in simile and metaphor we can say that a comparison is made, but in simile comparison is made using the words like, as, so, than. But in metaphor, comparison is made without using the words of comparison. Okay, personification, as you have also gone through these poetic devices in your 10th class? Personification, giving human qualities to animals and any non-living objects or any abstract ideas. It gives human qualities to animals, non-living object or abstract ideas. The snowflakes danced. And in your 10th class, in the poem in which the poet says that trees are moving out of the house, so that is also personification. When any thing, any non-living object, any animal are given human qualities, are referred as human beings, then it is personification. Alliteration, repetition of same letter or sound, at the beginning of closely connected words, like Willie wanted warm weather. So here the repetition of W you can see. Okay, repetition of consonant sound in closely connected words. Okay, in the beginning of closely connected, in nearby words simply. Okay, repetition of consonant sound in nearby words. Transferred epithet, it's an adjective simply. It works as an adjective. So where we transfer an adjective which is usually associated with a human being to another object or idea. Example, Sarah has an unhappy marriage. So here it is intended that Sarah is unhappy. So marriage is unanimate. It's an idea. So it is transfer epithet. So here Sarah has an unhappy marriage. Okay, so unhappy marriage. So in this sentence unhappy has been used as adjective. So it is here a transferred epithet. Also in the poem photograph, transient feet. So transient here has been used as an adjective. So it is what? Transferred epithet. So let us do a quick revision of poem 1 of photograph by Shirley Towson, and also we will be discussing some extra questions, some important questions from this chapter. What is the theme of the poem? The poem presents a contrast between the permanence of the nature and transitory, ever-changing nature of lives of human beings. Human life is not permanent. We undergo stark changes from birth till old age, till we finally meet the end. On the other hand, elements of nature like the sea tend to remain in the same state. So during explanation we also discussed that this poem tells us that nature does not change. Does not change. At the poet says that the sea has changed less. Okay, and while we human being, we human beings are not permanent. Okay, and one day we have to die, so that's why she calls her mother's feet as transitory, which was not permanent. Okay, so human being, they are not permanent, but nature is permanent. So main points of the poem, let us do a quick revision. The poet recollects how her mother laughed at the old photograph of a sea holiday. She also felt disappointed at the same time at the loss of her childhood joys. The sea holiday was mother's past, while the mother's smile is the poet's past now. At different points of time, both of them tried to reconcile with their respective losses with great difficulty. For the poet, the death of her mother brings great sadness and an acute sense of loss. The painful silence of the situation leaves her with no words to express her grief. Thus, the silence silences her. Poetic device I also discussed when I explained the poem. Allusion: the cardboard's lack of durability hints at the lack of permanence of human life. So that is allusion. When anything is used to refer something, then it is called allusion. Okay. Transfer epithet: terribly transient feat. Human life itself temporary, not the feat. So here transient, terribly feat refers human life and used as adjective here. So it is transferred epithet. Alliteration: terribly transient feat, repetition of sound T, and its silences repetition of S. Oxymoron: labored ease of loss. So the coming together of two opposite ideas describe the same concept. So labored ease of loss. So labored and ease, they are two opposite ideas. So that is why it is oxymoron. Personification: silence surrounds us. Okay, the situation has been given a human quality. Silences us. So here it has been given a human quality. So that is why it is personification in the poem. So let us go through the extracts and practice some questions. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one of them holding my mother's hand, and she, the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. What does the word cardboard suggest? So the cardboard suggests a photograph. How many persons are there in photograph? There are 3 persons in the photograph: poet's mother and her 2 little girl cousin. Where were the 2 cousins holding on to the poet's mother? So the girl's cousin were holding on to the poet's mother because she was the oldest amongst them. The line also suggests affection and sense of security. What is the age of poet's mother in the photograph? So the poet's mother about 12 years. The poet's mother is about 12 years of age. Where are the girls standing? So the girls are enjoying a sea holiday at the beach. Explain smile through their hair. So the soft breeze, it shows that the soft breeze at the beach had swept the hair of the girls on their faces. Which poetic device has been used in the second last line? So alliteration, stood still to smile. Okay. So next extract. A sweet face my mother's was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. What does the poetess say about her mother? So the poetess' mother was a young and pretty girl. When the photograph was clicked, she had a sweet face. This photograph was clicked long before the poetess was born. What is peculiar about the sea in the photograph? So the peculiar thing about sea in that it has not changed yet, that it has an unchangeable quality. The persons in the photograph have undergone massive changes, while the sea has not changed much. Which poetic device has been used in the last line? Alliteration and transferred epithet in terribly transient feet. Terribly transient feet. Repetition of here consonant sound T. So that is why alliteration. So it acts as an adjective. That's why it is transferred epithet. Explain transient feet. So the phrase suggests the transient nature of human beings. We undergo massive changes from the time of birth till old age before death takes over. These changes are terrible because we suffer from many losses as we grow older. Some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both wry with the liberties of loss. Let us go through this extract. So, how would the poet's photograph have reacted to the how did the poet's mother have reacted to the photograph? So the poet says that her mother would have laughed at the photograph. She would have found their dresses strange and funny. Who are Betty and Dolly? So Betty and Dolly are the two girl cousins of the poet's mother. Which two things now belong to the past? So the sea holiday was the past of poet's mother. The mother's laughter is the past of the poet because the mother is no longer alive. So find out word from the extract which means disappointed. So that is Rai. Identify the poetic device used in the last line. Labored ease of law, that is oxymoron. Explain the phrase both. Yes, this is very important question. This question has been asked many times in examinations. So, okay. Explain the phrase both Rai with labored ease of loss. So, both the poet and her mother are disappointed with the losses which they have suffered, but they have to accept the changes in order to move on. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as the girl lived, and of these circumstances, next now. Sorry, let us discuss this once again because it is very important and it has been asked many times in examination. Both try with labored ease of loss. Both the poet and her mother are disappointed with the losses which they have suffered, but they have to accept the changes in order to move on. For next stanza, next extract. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. Its silence silences. So who is she in the above lines? So she refers to the poet's mother. Explain this circumstance. So the poet feels deeply sad about the death of her mother. This is the circumstance which has been referred to here. How much time has passed away since the mother's death? So the poet's mother passed away nearly 12 years ago. What is the mental state of the poet in these lines? So the poet is feeling sad while looking at the photograph because it reminds her of her mother's death. Next, identify and explain the poetic device used in the last line. So, alliteration, its silence silences. The poet is feeling emotional as the photograph kindles sad memories of the death of her mother. The painful silence of the situation leaves her with no words to express some grief. The silence silences her. So now let us go through some short answer type question. You have to do the answer. Now you're on. You can pause the video and you can write down these questions. You must write answers to all the questions. Answer the following questions in not more than 30 to 40 words. What has the camera captured? Why did mother laugh at the snapshot? In what context has the phrase terribly transient feat been used in the poem? What does the poet tell us about the sea? What does this circumstance refer to? Both the poet and her mother experience losses in their lives. What are those losses? Next, seventh one. Its silence silences, says the poet. What has silenced the poet? The three stanzas depict three different phases. What are they? What impressions do you form of the poet's mother after reading the poem? A photograph. Describe the three girls as they pose for the photograph. The poet's mother laughed at the snapshot. What did this laugh indicate? What has not changed over the years? Why? So this is the questions, answers to which you must write in a fair notebook. What are the feelings of the poetess when she sees her mother's photograph? What philosophy of life does the poem reflect? Comment on the tone of the poem. These are 15 questions, answers to which you must write, and we have discussed many extra questions on extract based with their answers. You must note them down. Okay, they are all are important questions. They have been taken from exams. Okay, all the question answers you must note down in a notebook. And the main points which I have discussed in the beginning of today's video, all the poetic devices, all the things which I have discussed in my today's video must be noted down in your notebook. Okay, whatever is discussed today, so honestly you must note down a notebook. And thus we have revised the poem once again. In my first video of this poem, I have explained the poem, summarized the poem, discussed answers to all the questions. In this video I have once again revised. I have discussed all the main points of the poem. I have discussed poetic devices which have been used, also discussed some extract based questions. Some extra questions have been given to you to do in your fair notebook. So you must ensure the action must be done on time. Okay, so in next video, so I will revise your first chapter, the portrait of a lady. I will discuss some extra questions from that chapter, and then in my next video I will discuss the extra question of summer of the horse of summer beautiful, whatever the chapter is. Okay, chapter 1 in snapshot and chapter 1 in hornbill. After revising them, I will start chapter 2, the address, in your snapshot. Okay, so stay home, stay indoors, stay safe. Thank you for watching the videos.